Okay, I'm back with another Tyler Robinson update, and I've been watching tidbits of this. This is available. This one is televised because they pushed really hard for it to be televised. And in hindsight, I don't know that preliminary hearings should be televised. I typically don't pay any attention to the preliminary. I wait until we get to trial because the preliminary doesn't give me all the facts that I want. Like, I'm a person who wants a substantial amount of evidence to sift through. And the preliminary hearing is just meant to give just enough so the judge will say, yep, there's probable cause. Let's take this before a jury. And let's let this young man be judged by an impartial jury of his peers. And if they find him guilty, then yes, we could consider the death penalty. So that, A, it's a death penalty case. But B, to a lot of people, there were a lot of Charlie Kirk loyalists. And that group of people, I'm sorry if I'm speaking for them, but I'm assuming based on what I've read, they're devastated by this. And to them, this will be the trial of the decade. To them, this was a public assassination of a beloved political figure. So what I would hope is that this prosecution is fucking airtight. I'm sorry, this is hard for me. This is really hard for me because I'm watching the preliminary hearing and I'm like, and I see an officer up on the stand. He's like, I didn't do that. I didn't look into that bullet. I left that holster alone. I didn't think that had anything to do with the case. Oh, I heard it. It was over here. And the other one's like, but I watched the videos and it's the same person. We think that's his car. And I'm like, and where's the other stuff? Like, I am giving them the benefit of the doubt that when this comes to trial, which it will come to trial. When it comes to trial, I feel like the witness list or the list of experts needs to be like crash daddy level. These need to be PhDs. These need to be, video experts from Quantico, and they need to come in, people who can recreate all of this and do entire recreation scenarios. Like, I feel like this needs to get into the hands of the experts so they can prove that timeline and prove those videos are Tyler Robinson and prove that that's his car and prove that that Ring doorbell where the people claim a bald guy and 3 others got out of the car is actually Tyler Robinson. Like, for a preliminary hearing, this might be enough to say, okay, let's go to trial and explore more. But when we get to trial, they're going to bring it, aren't they? Like, they're going to give us more, right? It's leaving me empty. It's leaving me wanting more. And it's leaving me with a very high standard for the prosecution when we do get to trial. So let me just quickly give, and again, this is all just my opinion. You can disagree with me, but Officer Bagley, who was the first one up there, he was from the UVU campus security. We find out that they knew that there was going to be a big crowd. Charlie Kirk draws like huge crowds. There was only 6 cops there that day. They didn't ask for extra reinforcement. They didn't have metal detectors. They didn't have drones. They didn't do anything. They didn't rope off certain sections. It sounds like they didn't check any of the areas. Like, they didn't have sniper police anywhere. They didn't go up on the roofs. They didn't look at anything. So bad preparation. Bagley, who is the head of the security, says he heard a shot and then he saw Charlie Kirk slump over to his left. And again, in his trust me, bro testimony, he was like, oh no, the shot came from a rifle. Even though he found an empty holster on the ground, a pistol holster that would be used as like a concealed carry holster that was empty, lying on the ground, he didn't think that would have anything to do with it. They also found another handgun in a backpack, didn't think that had anything to do with it. He was sure because he heard what sounded like a rifle shot. By the way, there was another officer, was an off-duty trooper named Noah Gonzalez, who was there that day, saying that he saw the same holster on the ground, but it had a gun in it. He saw a holster and a gun on the ground. You've got the campus security saying he saw the holster and the holster was empty and he just ignored it because he didn't have it. A man's just been shot, but he doesn't think the empty holster has anything to do with it. And then you've got an off-duty trooper who says, oh no, I saw the holster and I saw a gun and I'm telling you about it now. Neither of them called anyone over and neither of them made arrangements for that to be put into evidence. Officer Bagley, who's the campus police, he's the one that says, he heard the shot. He went up on the roof. He says he didn't find a gun, didn't find any spent bullets, didn't find any unused bullets. There was no physical sign that there was a shooting, except he saw in the gravel what looked like a shape of a body lying there that someone could have been laying in the prone position as a shooter would have. Now, conveniently, Bagley's body cam went out. The battery died right before this rooftop incident. So we have no video of this alleged prone print that we have on the roof. And then he said there was someone else with him. So someone else went up there with him, a plainclothed person with a badge. Bagley had no idea who the person was, didn't ask him, can't recall who he was, what he looked like, can't remember how tall he was he white, was he black? No recollection whatsoever of this person, but he remembers the body print in the gravel. And I hate to keep calling back to old trials, but you know, this is like Matt McCabe leaving 34 Fairview, where he tells the police, I saw tire tracks in the snow. Because remember, at first they were trying to convince us that Karen Reed had done a 3-point turn. So Matt McCabe was the one that was like, oh yeah, I saw tire tracks in the snow. We saw tire tracks in the snow during a blizzard, but we didn't see the 6'2", 200-pound dead man laying on the lawn. Okay, sure. And again, I know this is just a preliminary hearing. Officer Bagley was called in probably just to give the judge enough probable cause to bring this to trial. I hope to God, if it goes to trial, Officer Bagley gets replaced with experts or gets coaching, because this testimony to me wouldn't stand up in front of a jury. This to me feels like he's full of shit. Sorry, but that's the impression I got. It also doesn't help that when Bagley submitted his report, so in his original reports, he claims to have submitted it right away. He didn't mention where he heard any shots were fired from. He didn't know the direction of the shot, but on cross-examination, got to hand it to Kathy Nestor, she got some licks in. She asks him, if you put in your report you didn't hear which direction the shot came in, what possessed you to assume it came from the low C building and to go search up at the top of there. There was another bullet, this comes up later, but there was another bullet found on another rooftop. So it's like, what made him decide to go up to that roof and not any other roof? And what made him decide so quickly that that holster on the ground had nothing to do with anything either? Again, this is just a preliminary hearing. I'm getting all worked up because I feel like there's a lack of detail, and I need to believe that the detail is actually going to come when they get to the trial. Like there will be, you know, actual real testimony. Won't there be? I hope so. I'll keep coming back because I've got another witness, this David Knoll, that I got to talk about. So please come back for the next video.